What is going on? I am Noah Brewer. If you don't know me, I'm a agency owner and I run Facebook ads for drop shipping stores. Mainly only focus on Facebook ads, don't really do much else. I was invited here because we wanted to make a case study on this store. I partnered up on a store with my partner with Viral Ecom Vids, which is probably where you're seeing this video from. And we've been scaling the store for about 2 months now. It's a little short of 2 months, but we have done about 55K, or like technically 56K in sales. It's been a month and 23 days. So I wanted to come in here and kind of share with you guys the ad strategy that I've been using. And also, you know, since I've been able to partner with Viral Ecom Vids, we were using all of their content, so their videos, their animations, pretty much everything that was used to promote this store is from Viral Ecom Vids, and I got their shirt on because they're good. But I got the results pulled up on the screen right now, and I have the entire strategy written out on this booklet here, which is basically, I mean, it's not that difficult, but I'll walk you guys through it so that you can understand. The main reason I have it written down is because since we're coming towards the end of this scale, everything's sort of scattered out, as you can see, so it's not really in order. So I wanted to make this paper so that everything is like nice and organized, so that you guys can see in order, you know, the order that we created things. You guys can see the ad account here. We spent almost $22,000 to do 56 in sales. The net margins on these are about 50%. So on 56, the profit would be about, I don't know, 30, probably 27, 28K. And we spent 22, so there's about 5 or 6K profit on this. So not the best margins, but this is probably one of the experimental stores because this is the first store that we ever tested out animations on. Well, not me, but with this partner. So we can walk through this method and kind of what we were doing. If you know me, you know that this is a little bit different than what I normally do. We can start this now. So I'm going to stop the screen share because everything that we need to see is pretty much on this book. I'll have a picture of the book on the screen so that you guys can follow along with what I'm saying. Alright, so basically day one, what we did was sort of something that my partner was testing out, which is, you know, launching with 2 campaigns at one time. Essentially, one of them was 7 ad sets at $5 a day without engaged shoppers, and the second campaign was another campaign with 7 ad sets at $5 a day, but except these ad sets did have engaged shoppers. So this is something that we've done a few times. It's not something that I do all the time, but we've definitely done it a few times and it works. So that's the route that we did with this store. Now, this is just sort of just like a normal test, right? Like you would do this with literally any product that you test. It doesn't matter whether it's a winner or not. At this point, we had no clue whether or not it was a winner. We were just kind of testing it out, and then basically what I like to do, like let's say you run these 2 tests and it pops off and it does really well. What I always recommend is waiting until at least one of the campaigns start hitting 20 sales or more. So ideally around 25, but if you're trying to scale it quicker, you can really do the next step right when it hits 20 sales. And basically there's 2 things that you can do. So you can either create 2 new campaigns or 1 new campaign with new creative, or you can make it with completely new interests with the same creatives. So with this store, we decided to go with a new creative. So you can see on the paper that we started out with video number 1, and then after one of those campaigns hit 20 sales, we transferred into video 2, which was just kind of us testing a new creative just to see how it would do, and they ended up doing pretty well. So we just kind of let those run, same exact process as before. Just kind of letting it go. We started making a new ad set every day inside of those campaigns, just to fuel the fire, and obviously we were turning off the bad ad sets, like 1 or 2 a day as they started dying out. I'd say at this point we're about 2 weeks in, things are going pretty slow. So we decided to go, once it hit 20 sales, we decided to get an animation made, because this was around the time when we were still testing these out. And like I said, this is one of the first stores that we tested it with. So basically we did the same exact thing, and that's what those quotes mean on the paper, is it's the same campaign structure as before. Basically just took the best interests that worked and made them in 2 new campaigns, one with engaged shoppers, one without, and used the animations, which I don't think we'll be showing the product because it is still running right now as we're filming this. And while we release it, it's probably still going to be running too. So we're not going to be releasing what it is. But an animation is basically a 3D rendering of the product that's either spinning or zooming in, or showing how the product works. There's lots of different flexibilities. I'll have my editor pop up an example of an animation on the screen right now, and that's of course a service that's provided by Viral Ecom Vids. It's pretty affordable. I only really recommend it if you know that the product's a winner. But at this point, we knew that the product was a winner, so obviously we were okay with testing it. Just because it's a little bit more money, I don't know if I would use it for testing, but you definitely could. After we did that, there was no real need to sit around and wait for that to hit 20 sales. Because the first thing that we did after that was retargeting. So we're probably about 3 weeks in at this point. The video that we started out with on here, video 1, we basically made all the pixel events, so page view, add to cart, initiate checkout, and then all the video views from the original video, and then we used the original video in the ads to actually promote it. So that was our move there. And then +1 ad set per day basically means that every single day after that campaign we were adding a new ad set. Now you would only want to do this if the campaign actually works, which for us it did. If it doesn't work, obviously you just turn it off, but it worked good for us. So we just started adding a new ad set per day. There's a lot that you can do with retargeting, especially if you have a bunch of campaigns running and you're spending a bunch of money, then you have a bunch of traffic coming in. And yes, we did end up doing retargeting for the video 2 and for the animation videos as well. And from what I can see, they performed pretty well. I mean, usually whatever you start with works the best, but you can retarget based on people that see the animation. You can retarget based on people that watch 2 different videos, or you can combine them all and make one big audience. So we just kind of did things separately, which is, I mean, fine. It's just preference, really. It doesn't really matter. So a few days after that, we just kind of let the retargeting run and balance out. We decided it was time to create a top 5 CBO. Now, if you don't know my criteria for a top 5 CBO, basically I make regular ad sets. CBOs is how I scale, so I make regular ad sets normally, and then once I have 5 ad sets that have 10 or more sales with like a 3 or 4 plus ROAS, then I will take those 5 ad sets and put them into a CBO at $100 a day. So we had the top 5 CBO because it was time. We had 5 ad sets with the 10 or more sales, and that actually popped off, right? Like I think the first, usually it either has a good first day or a bad first day. Usually I let them run for 2 days, just because sometimes it's up and down. So like if you have a bad first day, you might have a really good second day, and same thing vice versa. So we gave it a few days. We saw that it worked. It worked pretty well. We only used the original videos, so video 1 and video 2 in this CBO. We did not make animation CBOs yet at this point. So we basically let that run for 5 days, just let the ups and downs average out. And it did pretty good. So what we did after that is we duplicated that CBO into a $200 budget CBO. So everything the same. The only difference is the new one was at $200 per day. Just trying to push more spend to it without editing it. I do recommend just duplicating things rather than editing the budgets, because if you edit the budgets, then you do risk screwing up the original, which we didn't really want to do. Now, in our case, the 200 per day actually didn't do good. We decided to go another route with the next round of CBOs. Which you'll see here in a minute, but it didn't end up doing very good. I think we let it run for like 6 or 7 days. Sort of gave it the best chance that we can, but it didn't really pull through. So I mean, we ended up turning it off. So again, we waited like 5 or 6 days, let everything average out, and basically at this point we had 5 animation ad sets that had 10 or more sales with that good ROAS. So we made 100 per day CBO for the animations. This did really well, right? Like, it's still running today. I can't see the first week that we were running it, but I mean, it's sitting at about a 3 ROAS right now, and that was better than our other ones, right? Like, the other CBOs, they were kind of like but the animation CBOs really popped off. So they worked way better, and of course, just replicating the system that we were following, we just let it run 5 days. And this time we decided not to duplicate it into 200 per day, just because the last time it didn't work. I'm not sure why, right? Like, it could be anything, but we sort of learned our lesson, and this time we took it and we duplicated it, basically left everything the same and just let it run. Yeah, I mean, like I said, we made the 200 per day and it didn't work good at all, so we just decided to make a second 100 per day, which I've done before and it's worked pretty well. That's pretty much it. Like, at the stage where it's at right now, I think the best thing to do would be, you guys can go back to the beginning and look at the screen record that I did to see where it's at. But I mean, basically right now we just have 2 CBOs running. We have retargeting. Like, we can definitely do more with retargeting, so we'll probably be doing that soon. We can test out different animations. Like, we can get as many animations made as we want. So we probably end up doing that. I know that my partner got a new one made that we will probably end up testing out soon. So yeah, I mean, pretty simple. There's not a lot that went into this. Like, written on paper, it looks really easy, but this is about a month and a half worth of ad work, right? So turning things off, turning things on. New campaign like every 3 or 4 days is about the schedule that we were on. So pretty cool. I thought that it would be valuable to come in here and kind of share what I did to grow this store. And I think it showcases, Viral Ecom Vids products pretty well, like with the 2 different videos and the animation, like what they could do for your business, especially, if you have something that's been running with a normal video and you want to test out an animation, it would definitely be a good idea, just because it sort of like re-sparks it. Not that it'll perform better every time, but most of the time they do fairly well. So yeah, I hope this was super valuable to you. Super huge thanks to my partner for letting me help him scale this store. And I'm glad that we can use Viral Ecom Vids products. If you want to test out a video or an animation from Viral Ecom Vids, there'll be a link below or something. You can just go check them out. I really didn't want this to be a sales pitch, but of course, like, I'm gonna rep their thing on my shirt and I'm gonna shout them out because they made it possible for me to help scale this. So yeah, have a good one, guys.